Hello and welcome to Korero, the platform where Nigerians' biggest political conversations and questions meet the boldest conversations. My name is Godwin Sunday, and every night on this table, we dig beneath the headlines to uncover the stories shaping our democracy. And tonight, our focus is on Nigeria's electoral system, the very foundation of our democracy. Elections are the lifeblood of our democracy, the process through which citizens decide who governs at the federal, state, and local levels. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) carries out this responsibility, but guided by the Electoral Act. Reforms such as the Beavers and the IRAV were designed to strengthen transparency and credibility. Yet, challenges remain from voters' apathy to violence and disputes that continue to test the trust of Nigerians in the ballot. So tonight, we ask, can our electoral system truly guarantee that the will of the people prevails? With me in the studio is Dr. Barry Avotu Johnson, Deputy National Youth Leader of the Labour Party. He will be sharing his insight on how Nigeria can strengthen its democracy through credible elections. But first, we will take a quick break. When we return, we will dive straight into the conversation. Do stay with us. And welcome back. Well, with me in the studio is Dr. Barry. You're welcome to Korero, Dr.
Thank you.
Barry.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Dr. Barry, let's even delve into the conversation straight up.
Yes.
From your own perspective, how effective has INEC been in conducting free, fair, and credible elections in the country so far?
Well, I like to talk about the INEC of Mahmoud Yakubu that is recent. And I like to say that INEC has not conducted any free nor fair elections so far, as far as we are concerned. We have seen the illegalities, we have seen the compulsory litigation created by the INEC. And that is not helping democracy at all. Because first you release an electioneering process activity calendar and you are not following it well. You prefer to disenfranchise people. You prefer to surcharge the Nigerian people. You prefer to be a gang up against the Nigerian people. You prefer to support the ruling party, the APC. You prefer to support the president. That is wrong. And for us, if we're given a pass mark, is 0. As far as we are concerned, INEC has not done anything that should be applauded. Because in the first place, we have seen issues like bringing up democracy, giving democracy the lifeline to live with electoral reforms that at the end of the day have been thrown into the dustbin. We have seen issues like the Beavers, issues like the IRF being created in disguise that these elections are going to be free, they are going to be credible, and at the end of the day, we are not seeing results on real time. So for us, that is all a drama. So for us, INEC remains a drama queen pot, a pot where drama queens succeed or where drama queens operate. Because whether you like it or not, it's a clear manifestation that Nigerians have seen that this INEC is not credible. This INEC has a large chunk of cotton wool in their ears. They don't listen, they don't want to change. Most of the litigations, unnecessary litigations we have today from our elections are created by INEC. like the FCT elections that is coming, and the by-elections that INEC just sold to the opposition. I mean, sold to the ruling party in disguise. Show me one election that INEC ever conducted with result presented on real time.
Well, since you took the conversation from Mahmoud Yakub's own administration, so let's just stay within that bracket.
That's where we're going to stay.
Because people will say that Nigerians had the fairness and freest election in 2015 that brought in the late President Muhammadu Buhari into power. Well, that's what a lot of Nigerians will say, even at this point in time.
That's not true.
But in your own assessment so far, if you want to put it in a statistical form, what will you rate it from between this in a scale of 1 to 10? The performance of INEC so far?
Like I said, and I'll repeat it again, this INEC controlled, moved, mobilized by Professor Mahmoud Yakubu remains a comatose INEC. An INEC that does not understand what democracy is. An INEC that plays the role of political vampire.
Let's take that to be an allegation from
It's
coming from
not
your.
an
Let's take that to be an
allegation.
allegation coming from your own point.
The whole world can see.
It's an allegation coming from your own point,
Okay,
because INEC will say, okay,
let me give you an example.
Yeah.
This by-election that just passed, a calendar was released by INEC for it. A breakdown was given by INEC. And the Nigerian people who are interested in contesting to become went to different political parties to get their forms. One of the reasons why a lot of people bought their forms from the Labour Party, where I belong, is because Abure remains the national chairman of the Labour Party by the inscription of INEC putting his name on their portal. These people came to the party, they bought their forms, and they trusted INEC's judgment by keeping the name of Abure on that portal, which is official. This same INEC, after the primary elections, refused to upload the names of nominated candidates from the Labour Party on the IRF or on the portal of INEC. What do you call that? That is political impunity. You are favoring one political party against the other. Everybody knows in Nigeria that FCT belongs to the Labour Party. In 2023, we told the world that no political party will make 25%, and we did it. This is what they are afraid of. Now, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is president of Nigeria under the ruling party, the APC. Do you know the insult and the embarrassment he will get when the Labour Party sweeps the 6th area council in the forthcoming elections? They are now using technical knockouts to push the Labour Party away from the elections. This is illegal. And this is one of the reasons why we have said INEC has scored 0 with the leadership of Mahmoud Yakubu, as far as we are concerned.
Well, interesting so far. Let's even look at elections generally. Of course, you've mentioned the by-election that just took place recently. But when you look at the various elections across the country, can we say at this point that we've been able to advance from where we were coming from? Has there been any form of progress so far in our electoral process, if you look at it from your own perspective?
Well, the only thing I can say is that the only process that we have seen remains the process of impunity. And the process,
but this was the same Yakub Mahmoud that brought in a man that was driving bike in to the House of Assembly to speak for his people and represent his people.
There are some kind of elections that you cannot rig.
Okay.
You can only rig elections where you are popular.
So when you give them 0 over 10, when you bring them 0 over 10, and this election has favored Labour Party to a very large extent.
When you commit a crime, all the good you have done has been swallowed. You can give us good of 80% and give us a good of 20%, and the 20% swallows the 80%. What good has the 80% given to Nigerians? You told us you have given a little reform to INEC. And at the end of the day, what happened? These elections, these by-elections was battered with the euphoria of vote buying. The videos are all over the internet. Vote buying. In Kano, we saw videos. In Kaduna, we saw videos. In Anambra State, we saw videos of vote buying. INEC staffs are there. The police are there. So what do you want us to do? This is an organization that does not understand democracy. I keep telling you, until this country's leadership gets its hands away from how the INEC chairman emerges, this will continue. Because there's no way the president of Nigeria will appoint an INEC chairman that will not be a slave to him or a tool. Just like the way the INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, remains a tool in the hands of the APC. INEC is just like INEC is an organization.
Alleged tool to
INEC
APC.
is an organization that we can say anywhere we belle face. As far as the ball goes to A, INEC is there to support. If the ball comes to the PDP, we saw what INEC did with the PDP for the years PDP ruled Nigeria. If it's not that Goodluck Jonathan was a gentleman that agreed to let go, we have evidence that Buhari didn't win the elections. We have evidence that there were massive rigging in the 2015 general elections. But the person in question, Goodluck Jonathan, did not go to court. So who are you to now say the elections are not fair? So practically the only fair, free elections we ever had in Nigeria remains that one that brought the personality of MK Abiola in 1993.
So invariably you're saying that of the one that brought in late President Muhammadu Buhari is not free. It's not credible.
It's not free. Even the one in 2019 is not free. We knew who won that elections. We knew who the PDP won in 2019.
Let's go by the records which INEC declared even to. But again, a lot of young people in the country right now are saying that this whole electoral process tends to not favor them. It rather frustrates them even from contesting in elections across the country. But when you look at it and from the angle of young people, how correct is this narrative?
I think it's wrong because with the little survey I have done, I'm a young person too, I don't think they are correct. INEC does not exactly have the total monopoly to operate the Nigerian people against their will. If you're a young person, we have 10 young people coming out for elections. Why should all of them go to the ring? We can have 2 of them go to the ring and the monies that are supposed to be used in pushing 10 people can be put together and push 1 or 2 people. But you see Nigerian youths selfish, like their elders, like what they inherited, and everybody wants to contest. So if we have 10 young people, we can see an opportunity where 8 of them can step aside and bring the fundings that they have to run and push for 2 people, and at the end of the day, those 2 people will be there, and we start up from there. It's a gradual process. Let me still ask you, who are the people calling for an Atiku to become president of Nigeria? Who are the people calling for Mohamed Bola Tinubu to remain in office? Who are the people calling, who called late Muhammadu Buhari to become president at that age? The young people. The young people are not serious. The young people in Nigeria does not have a photograph of a big picture that they should look at. We're looking at young people who must see between a smaller picture and a big picture. You can't use my time. Atiku is coming out to use the time of the young people. They should go away from politics. They should remain at the back door. It's not a must for you to be president of Nigeria. The seat of the president does not belong to one person. It's enough for every youth in Nigeria to understand that this is our time. When we're growing, they say young people are the leaders of tomorrow. This is a country where tomorrow never comes. We are taking it up right now ahead of 2027. We want to see young people, only young people coming out. These old people have held sway in government since 1960. We have not seen what they have done. All the old people who have taken power, ordinary water to drink. There have not been any government that is able to have provided ordinary drinking water to Nigerians. Ordinary drinking water. The Nigerian people have ended up becoming their governments by themselves. You provide your solar to provide you electricity in your house. You provide boreholes that give you water. What else? Your security man is paid by you. So what else does the government want to do for you? Well, private schools are all over the place. So what exactly is the government doing?
Well, Dr. Barry, you have highlighted some of these challenges.
Yes.
At this point, I'm curious.
Yes.
With all of what you've highlighted right now, are we ready for a constitutional democracy as a people.
We are not ready, like I said.
So we should rather go back to what form of government?
I think
if you say we are not ready,
yes.
what form of government should we be looking at?
See,
if the electoral system is marred with irregularities, as you've highlighted
I wrote a book called The Fifth Republic because of the questions of the issues affecting our country. We need a fifth republic that must be battered by force, by hook or by crook. We need a sovereign national conference. Why are they running away from a sovereign national conference when Nigerians must sit down and decide that we're one? If Nigeria breaks into pieces, what benefit is it when all those pieces are not working? Why not give us the opportunity to take decisions for ourselves? You are taking decisions for the youth, and the youth are not part and parcel of the decision making. It's time for us to step up, to defend our country, to stand forward, to ask ourselves, what exactly are we doing that is right and that is not wrong? What exactly have these old men done that has not moved Nigeria forward? We keep borrowing on a daily basis. How can you be borrowing to pay salaries? How? Why? Is this not the same country called Nigeria that is basking in the euphoria of crude oil and agriculture some time ago? What happened to all that? Why can't this administration declare a state of emergency in education, in agriculture? Why? But they are more interested in taking over Rivers State. That is not even cumbersome. It's not even troublesome.
That corridor. Let's come back to the whole conversation again. Of course, we can't complete this conversation without we even looking at the judiciary.
That's right.
Because it is a major organ of government. But in your own assessment, in our electoral system so far, how has the judiciary fared?
Well, you see, as an opposition, when you ask me questions, I'm not happy to always say they're bad, they're dead, they're bad, they're dead. I can't just be cancelling everything.
No, if they are good, of course, it's up to you to say that they've done magnificently well.
But the fact remains that sometimes we have some judgments that is credible. Sometimes we have very bad judgments from very notorious judges that should be taken out of the courts. This is a serious matter. There is no democracy that can survive with illegality in the legal framework of the judiciary. We have seen people who give judgment. We have seen people who give kangaroo criminal judgment to make somebody who contested an election and took fourth position and declared the person governor. We saw what happened in the capacity of Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. For God's sake, this man took fourth position. What kind of judgment made him the governor at the end of the day? What kind of judgment? What kind of judgment? What kind of judgment is holding Nnamdi Kanu in the coffers of the government? What kind? How many times have the cases, judgment been released that Kanu is free? But is he free? So this is the kind of judiciary we are talking about. Judiciary of businessmen. Judiciary of men who don't have pity for the country. Judiciary of men who don't see democracy as important. Judiciary of men who think that they are powerful. Nobody is more powerful than a judge in Nigeria. It's not supposed to be so. A judiciary of men who go out and have businesses and friends with governors. Have you seen any judge of any country or a justice making friends with a governor? But in Nigeria, we see them in beer parlors. A judge in beer parlor drinking and womanizing and doing all sorts of things like a normal person. It's not allowed in the business.
Well, let's just even move away from that particular discourse just before I let you go. Of course, we are trying to have an overview of the Nigerian electoral system.
Yes.
But so far, so good. Come 2027, even 2026, we have a lot of elections that are already lined up.
Yeah.
Even from September, from October, November, we have elections that are already lined up. When you look at all of this put together, is there light at the end of the tunnel for our democracy?
Well, there's light, but the light must be taken out by the people. The people are the ones who hold the torch of every success in every capacity of anything that's going on that deals with government. So definitely we're calling on everyone who is a lover of Nigeria. Any young person who is ready to move Nigeria forward should come out and speak through to the democracy of our country. It's time for us to say no to illegality. It's time for us to say no to political criminality. This is the country where the Electoral Act and the constitutions forbids you to be in two political parties. But we are seeing the Yeson Wiki of our time having romance with two political parties at the same time. We have seen Peter Obi saying he's in Labour Party. At the same time, he adopted another party for 2027 presidential elections. Those are criminal in question. Those are, if Nigeria was a country that is working, by now the IG should arrest these people, should arrest them, prosecute them, and find them wanting and jail them as example.
Well,
if we have to move Nigeria forward.
Dr. Barry Avotu Johnson, I wish we had more time to talk about all of this issue in Nigeria, but at this point I want to say thank you so much for being with us on the show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
We'll go for this short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with more conversation here on the show. Please stay with us.
Meet the men and women shaping the future of Nigeria. Get to know your representatives at the National Assembly. From lawmaking to constituency projects, we'll take you behind the scenes and inside the chambers of the Nigerian National Assembly. Learn about the bills they are championing, the challenges they are facing, and the impacts they are making in their constituencies. We'll also bring you closer to the people they are serving and the stories that shape their work. Join us on NAS Watch every Friday on Rapid Television at 7 p.m. So get informed, get engaged, and get to know the leaders shaping Nigeria's future.
Welcome back. Since losing power in 2015, the People's Democratic Party has struggled to find its footing. Internal rivalries, fractions, alliances, and disputes over leadership have left the party divided. The 2022 primaries deepened the cracks as Atiku Abubakar's emergence sparked a rift with the G5 governors led by Nyesom Wike, who demanded fairness and balance in the party's leadership. Fast forward to today, the battles have only intensified. Disagreements over the role of acting chairman, questions around zoning, and the unfinished scars of the Wike-Atiku feud continue to pull the party apart. With 2027 around the corner, the question is, can the PDP rise above these internal storms, or is it sliding into irrelevance? Here in the studio, we have Mazi Nnamdi Dixon Uregu, a National Executive Committee member of the People's Democratic Party. He will help us dissect the issues, the stakes, and the future of the People's Democratic Party. But first, Mazi, you're welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
Well, it is a very interesting time to talk about the People's Democratic Party. But then let's even get you talk. What is the position of the party right now, even in terms of its own leadership?
Once again, thank you. And First, let me begin with a little correction.
All right.
I am not a member of the National Executive Council. I am a member of the People's Democratic Party.
All right.
Yes,
Noted.
so I'm not a member of NEC. Leadership, that's what you asked, right? First, PDP is, yes, plagued with challenges, but that is politics. I'm an Igbo man. For instance, we call politics ndorondoro chichi, which is pull your side, I pull my side. So it is politics that is playing out in the PDP. And of course, being the party that led the country for 16 years and left the way it left. And of course, various interests and all of that. And because our former presidents, former President Olusegun Obasanjo and former President Goodluck Jonathan, their absence in the party gave room for some of these rancors that we had and all of that. Because in politics, there must be some level of a rallying point where leaders can say, okay, this could be better approached this way and all of that. But unfortunately, the only leader we seem to have had since we left in 2015, when he became the candidate of the party in 2019, that is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. After losing the election in 2019, we observed that even when we were in court, he never showed up for one day. And then, of course, we moved on, and up to 2023, he became the candidate and lost. Of course, also, even when the party had the crisis after his emergence in 2022, he didn't show leadership. That is Atiku Abubakar now. He didn't show leadership because if Atiku haven't emerged as the candidate of the party, he is from the north, and then the chairman from the north, and the DG of the party, of the campaign at that time, from the north. And the G5 governors, as I heard you mention earlier, now demanded what is the need for the South? Because they will go back to their people to say, vote for PDP. But what would be the reason when they couldn't even get anything? And then they demanded for, okay, you didn't give us this and that. Let the chairman come to South. And that one would have expected, if I was Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, I would have persuaded the chairman, prevailed on him to at least consider that and at least negotiate it, because it's give and take. But that didn't happen. And of course, we went into that contest. Also, because the party derailed in not upholding the constitution of the party, which recognized zoning. So a lot of us, myself, for instance, I was one of those who was aggrieved from the Southeast, because after the party lost in 2015, the most loyal zone to the party was the Southeast until 2023. And we expected that to build a political party, there must be ways of rewarding loyalty. And the party didn't do that and jettisoned the zoning formula enshrined in our constitution because of the same Atiku Abubakar and all of that. And we went into that contest divided. Some of us, of course, worked against the party deliberately and intentionally. In fact, stayed away from anything that had to do with the party. And the party lost the way it did. Well, we're here now, and the party is looking for a way to re-engineer itself and reposition itself to winning ways. Because as at today, APC has bungled everything that the PDP left. 16 years, we gave this nation a direction. Hunger was not an issue. Food was not an issue for the Nigerian people. The level of insecurity as we are faced with today, where kidnapping and all of that has now become a form of business and all that, and government is doing nothing. So 10 years of APC, we have seen the party that we handed over to in 2015 ruin everything that we gave it, including the economy. Remember, in 2015, the PDP handed over to APC a $550 billion US economy. Nigeria was the fastest growing economy, biggest economy in Africa at that time. But what do we have today? We're all in a situation that is very, very appalling, to say the least. So indeed, yes, we're faced with challenges, but the party is putting its house together. I heard you mention the aspect of the conflict that we had during the absence of the then chairman IU, and then of course Ambassador Damagun took over as acting chairman and all of that, and then the people from IU zone, that is particularly Benue, started their trouble, demanding that it was their seat and that it was their turn to finish that particular mandate of the chairmanship of the party. And the party does not have micro zoning in the constitution. It is north and south, and it's clearly stated there that in the absence of the chairman, either by death or by resignation or whatever it may be that created that vacuum, the vice chairman from his zone, and the zone here in question here is either, if the chairman were to be from the south, the deputy from the south would take over in acting position, or from the north, as the case is now. And that became what it is. And Damagu, took over that space and is today the acting chairman. Then we had crisis with the office of the national secretary and all of that, which was completely unnecessary, because the constitution provided for that any of the NWC members who desires an elective office in any capacity and all of that may choose to resign. It didn't state shall resign or must resign. May choose to resign is what is in our constitution. But some people felt that they wanted to flex muscles. The governors at that time, 12 of them, didn't show leadership. Before, of course, we now have 2 of them who have left. But the party is getting back on track.
Mazi, let's even talk about this popular conversation right now that Wike is holding the party to ransom. No. That PDP right now is answerable to Wike. Wike has even held the party to his jugular. No. How will you respond to
First, this will be another opportunity for me to debunk that, because the media has allowed it to fester, to thrive. It's not true. Wike is just one man. And I'm not his fan. Let me state it here so it doesn't look like I'm coming here to defend him. I'm not a Wike fan, and it's very clear. However, some of the challenges that we faced, for instance, the 17 governors from southern Nigeria had an Asaba Accord where they agreed that power must come back to southern Nigeria after Muhammadu Buhari's tenure elapsed in 2023. And that agreement, I support it. Because it was wrong for anybody to imagine it, that after 8 years of a northerner, especially the type that we faced under Buhari, that level of abysmal failure that we faced, that another northerner would take over. It was very insensitive. That's why I stated earlier that the party jettisoned its already agreed position in the constitution, which allowed for zoning. So the party failed in doing that, and the likes of Wike, and you can't take it away from Wike. After the party lost in 2015, Wike became the only voice, and possibly the only one who was supporting the party at the national and at the state levels and all of that. All of the other governors were more like lame dogs. So he fought very hard for that. And of course, like I said, in 2022, after the primaries, the party failed in reconciling itself. He was the leader of the G5 governors, and the demand was very clear that for us to go back to southern Nigeria and tell our people there is a need to vote PDP back to power, we must have something to also present to our people. And the party failed in doing that. That became the grouse of the G5 governors as led by Wike. But presently, will you say Wike is the problem? Is it because he's a minister under APC? No, it's not a problem. And the demand he keeps upholding is that the party must come south. And that's where we're going now. That we haven't made the mistake of 2023. Okay, we want to correct it. We're moving in the direction that we should have gone ab initio. So the party, after, of course, if you were at NEC meeting, the NEC proposed, after setting up the zoning committee, that the party must, consider going south. And I believe that is where we're going now. So Wike is not our problem. The problem that we had in the party was one man's ambition, which is Atiku Abubakar, and he has left. And since he left the party is re-engineering itself and repositioning for, we're going to have our convention in November and all of that. The Wike angle is over Oh, as far as I'm concerned, that position is neither here nor there. But the demand that it should come south, I am in support of it, and he is not our problem. About him working under the APC government and saying, oh, that he's going to support...
He supported President
Tinubu for 2027.
Yeah, for 2027.
Well, we don't have a candidate yet. We don't have a candidate. It's unfortunate that APC government as led by Tinubu, 2 years into government, rather than face governance, they are already campaigning for 2027 because they failed. Because they are already campaigning for 2027, it appears as though that the likes of Wike clearly have said, yeah, if our party, PDP, by the time we finish our convention, and of course, we now have, by next year, work towards getting a candidate and all of that for the party. If the likes of him now get up to say that they are going to endorse or support Tinubu for 2027, especially when the Tinubu's government has put the country in a deep, deep mess, then we would do the right thing. But at the moment, we don't have a candidate, and him working as a minister under the APC is not anti-party, because even under our watch as under President Olusegun Obasanjo, we had people from other political parties who were in his government. Even under Jonathan, the likes of the chairman of PDP Governors Forum today, before he was appointed FCT minister, that is Governor Bala Mohammed, was a member of the AMPP and all of that.
Mazi, let me even get you react to this popular opinion right now being held by Nigerians, that the People's Democratic Party doesn't know how to play opposition. That's why the ruling All Progressive Congress has been getting along with all its decision, and that's why Nigeria is where it is right now. How correct is this whole narrative that People's Democratic Party is shy from playing opposition?
Nobody is created to be in the lamentation end. PDP, I may just admit here that we were not set up for opposition. I agree. The PDP was set up to govern Nigeria and govern it aright. Put the nation into...
So PDP has failed Nigeria as an opposition party?
No, it hasn't failed. PDP has...
Because if the PDP is supposed to be a very strong opposition party
from that sense.
It wasn't built to be an opposition party, but right now you're on the opposition side. And you're not built for it. And you're not speaking up for Nigerians. Well, you're not speaking up for Nigerians, and Nigerians are saying... You are just one. You are one.
Chaos in the country that we
during when the All Progressive Congress were on the other side of the divide, you saw what played out before 2015.
Play that kind of chaotic politics.
So APC, at this point, should we say that the People's Democratic Party has failed Nigerians by not standing up and living up to its responsibility as an opposition party?
If our not playing chaotic politics is what you call failure, then it's okay to call us whatever you want to call us. We will not be chaotic about governance of Nigeria. We want to see a great nation, and that's what the party is set up for. That is why our name, People's Democratic Party, is about the people. That is why our motto, power to the people. That is what we stand for. We want to build a great nation, an egalitarian nation. That's what PDP is set up to build. And we did it for 16 years. The difference is clear. When you consider what APC has done for 10 years and what PDP did in 16 years, the difference is very clear that, yes, this party ought to be in government and not in the opposition end. And indeed, well, like I said, we're putting our house together to get back to winning ways and help salvage our nation from the ruins that APC has brought upon us. Because every Nigerian ought to be in the opposition now. Our lives every day is in danger. Hunger is killing Nigerians. That's what the issue is. And any government that is still, claiming to be a government, and while its people are dying of hunger, that government should cover its face in shame. So PDP, yes, may not have played the kind of chaotic politics that APC played while they were in the opposition. Even while they are now in government, they are still in the opposition, causing chaos and confusion in our country. Ruins everywhere. That's what we're faced with. So PDP, I maintain that if our not being chaotic and destructive and destructive is what has brought about the definition that you have given to us as a party.
Well, not definition, but per se.
Well, it's fine. But,
not definition
but Nigerians
per se.
are missing the beautiful days of PDP. That's what's important to us.
All right.
And with that, we can sleep well and say, well, if Nigerians want to get our country back, then let's go and save ourselves. And not look for one PDP
all right,
somewhere to come
Mazi,
and be that
our time
chaotic
is
as the
fast
APC
spent. But
is.
just before I let you go, let's talk about the coalition. A lot of people will say that the PDP is trying to delay its convention because they are trying to still come to terms with the whole coalition. Is PDP really going into the coalition?
First, the coalition is by individuals. The P2B, Atiku, and all of them that are there, Mechi,
And they have their majority supporters. They are also going with them.
The noise is simply they are riding on the waves of Peter Obi. If you observe, any day, and I believe, and I predicted it on other platforms, that this coalition will fail. Immediately Peter Obi withdraws, and he's going to withdraw because these same people were the people who brought the chaos that we're faced with today. All right? So, is PDP averse to it? No. We intend to bring all Nigerians together to help save ourselves because we're all in it together. But are we in this particular one as led by Atiku Abubakar? No. ADC cannot. And that's where Atiku failed. Some of us felt, okay, as the leader, being the last presidential candidate of our party, as the leader, if you wanted people to come form alliance or coalition with you, why couldn't you bring them into the party that gave you ticket twice to be the presidential candidate? That's why he failed. How can you now leave PDP that has structure, that has something, a track record that you can, present anywhere, and now go to ADC that has nothing? And of course, look at the by-election that just held. Now they know better. It's not about noise. It's not. So for us as a party, the party is positioning itself to form alliance, and we are wooing the likes of Peter Obi back to our party. By the time the likes of him comes back, and I want to predict on your platform that Peter Obi is most likely going to be the candidate of the PDP in 2027. And by the time that happens, the alliance, not coalition now, that we ought to have formed, PDP will be in the forefront. Even though the
drum is louder on the part of Goodluck Jonathan to return back to power.
You see, quickly on the President Goodluck Jonathan, and this would be me. I supported him in 2011 and 2015, but this will be me advising him: don't swallow that bait. The bait of him wanting to be pulled out for another embarrassment, he should avoid it. Rather, he can come back to the party and, fill that gap, that leadership. Because if we had him still in the party, being the last president that the PDP produced and all of that, we possibly will not have the likes of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar lording himself over the party. So the aspect of Goodluck Jonathan is neither here nor there. What is he looking for in the villa? He left, he handed over. In fact, he didn't lose the election in 2015. He just simply handed over.
Let's work with INEC record. Let's work with INEC record that, of course, he lost the election.
As far as Nigerians know,
let's work with INEC record at this point in time. But at this point, I want to say...
We didn't lose that election, he just gave it away.
Well, I've been signaled right now that our time is fast spent. I want to say thank you so much, Mazi Dixon Nnamdi, for finding out time to be with us, even here on the show.
I appreciate it.
And hope when next we need you, be available for us.
Awesome. I love this environment already.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, this is how far we can go today on the show. Do remember that you can join the conversation on our various social media platforms currently showing on your screen. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Enjoy the rest of your evening.